Commence primary ignition.
Well, what is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, and happy Revenge of the Fifth. We are dark side mode on this week's episode. And shout out to DJ Foster and John Hare for working on that incredible intro music there. And DJ, part of that music collaboration, is here on this episode. What's up, DJ?
I'm having a good day. Typically, I'm green in the backdrop, but I have these colored lights are fantastic. You know, Caleb's got his, I've got mine, and this is a little behind the scenes. Playing with the different colors that I can, like pretty much any color you can think of, I can put it up. But I just threw purple on. I never thrown purple on. I was like, this looks really good. So I'm going to probably keep purple going forward. I really like the way this looks.
It looks slick. It looks very slick.
It might be the black t-shirt too. I don't know.
Maybe, but you're looking very Mace Windu. It looks good though. We're gonna have to hit up BA. This is a test if BA is actually listening, maybe.
Oh,
ooh. But if not, we might have to hit up BA to get your border purple there, because it looks good. It looks really good.
I'm even pleased with it on the green. Weirdly, I don't know why. I think it's because it reminds me of the Joker. That's why.
Okay, I see that. A little Loki too. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Loki.
Well, okay. I guess I'm the more DC. You're probably the more Marvel. But
I think so.
We're not here to talk about DC or Marvel.
No, we're not.
No.
We're here to talk about Star Wars, man.
Yes.
And we had a massive Star Wars Day yesterday, so may the 4th be with you, by the way, but also Revenge of the Fifth too. Like we're dark side mode now, so no more celebrating. We're gonna be evil. No, just kidding. We're celebrating this week because Star Wars Day yesterday was great. I mean, just before we kind of go into the things that came of yesterday, I just wanted to say that I feel like Star Wars Day yesterday made a huge impact. Not just for us diehard fans, but I feel like a lot of people were talking Star Wars yesterday, and it was really good to see on social medias, which, by the way, Mando Talks on social medias, at Mando Talk on all of those platforms. True. But yeah, Star Wars Day, from beginning to end, I mean, we started with a bang, and we just kept on going with stuff that they gave us. It was a great day. What are your overall thoughts on Star Wars Day yesterday?
I said this at one point to my dad, who, by the way, another small plug here, if you want to check out my Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer reaction, I had my dad, I asked him, hey, would you want to do this with me? He said, sure. So he hopped on and did it with me. So go check out our trailer reaction to Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser trailer number 2. So go check that out. But I told him, I said, I think that this particular Star Wars Day is the best, the most well-organized Star Wars Day since the Disney acquisition. Which I know that was in late 2012 and 2013. You know, there wasn't a lot going on except, you know, some production stuff for episode 7, I think, was kind of out there. And so if you look back over all of that time up to now, we've had good Star Wars days. Like, heck, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can go back to 2012 and see a Star Wars Day video I did for high school. Okay.
Ooh, I'll have to go back and see that.
It is very low. It's low quality. It's what we could do in high school, you know, but I'm about 100 pounds lighter, and you know, we had fun with it. I wasn't even planning on talking about that, but there it is. But anyway, you know, I just think that with what Star Wars Day is now, if they can do what they did yesterday going forward every time, it'll always go off without a hitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it certainly helps that this Star Wars Day, they have Obi-Wan Kenobi coming in 3 weeks, so it just naturally made sense to drop a teaser, which we will get to our little breakdown where we're really just going to go frame by frame with that teaser. We didn't really like prepare notes or any really commentary with that. We just kind of like to do it fresh together on the fly, and not necessarily on the fly because we're not prepared, because I just think that the conversation flows naturally when we do it that way. So
I agree.
I can't wait until we get there. But I mean, DJ, if you're ready, let's go ahead and get into the two behind the scenes kind of projects that we got yesterday in celebration of Star Wars Day. You ready for it, or is there anything else you'd like to get into?
Let's just say hi real quick to everybody in the chat.
Good call.
We got John Harris here, of course. Thank you, buddy. I hope you got to catch a little bit of that. And I know it's you made the music, but I hope you caught it at the beginning. All right. And then we got Rev Teak, a fellow drummer, by the way, good friend of mine, actually. He said DJ is evolving in his production. I don't know if you mean in the drum side of things or this with the purple. I don't know.
It's got to be the purple, man. It just looks too good. Looks too good.
It does look really good. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We may keep it. We may not. Well, we'll see. But then also Brock85 says, "Sup, y'all? I'm here." What's up, Brock?
What's up, Brock? Glad you can make it live.
Yes. And then RFB, Rural Farm Boy. Mando Talk Boys, he says. He probably didn't say it like that. That's how I said it. And then Brock also said he loves the video that we did. So I'm thinking he's talking about the Kenobi reaction. So
yes,
I love it too. You know, it's a good time. So yeah, but other than that, I'm ready to go. Caleb, I hope you're ready to go. So go ahead and take it.
I'm ready to go. Look, the first thing that I knew about coming on Star Wars Day was this Disney Gallery, The Book of Boba Fett. It was, in fact, dropped on that day of May the 4th. And we're just going to real quickly give our initial, just big takeaways, if you will. Now, I've prepared kind of a list. I don't know, DJ, have you got a list prepared for things?
No,
or
I don't. No.
You're just going to roll with kind of things that, okay.
I'm going to roll with it, and then if I remember something, I'll just throw it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, overall review of this Disney Gallery for the Book of Boba Fett. Let me just start there before I get into the big takeaways that I had. This special made me appreciate the show much more than I did beforehand. So in that sense, I think that this special is a success, and I highly recommend to every single Star Wars fan out there to check this out if you haven't done so already. If you haven't done so already, we're about to talk about it, so spoiler alert with that. But yeah, any Star Wars fan, you should watch it because it really gives insight to how they put these things together. And like I said, I've shared some criticism with the Book of Boba Fett before on this show, but this special made me feel better overall about the series that we've gotten so far. What about your overall review, if you could sum it up?
Yeah, it's, I'm sure that we'll discuss it more as we go forward. There are things about this. It's kind of funny. I think you said you appreciate the show more because of it. Typically, that's what behind the scenes do for me. Mm-hmm. I tend to appreciate the project more. I don't know why, but even when I was watching it, I wasn't in a bad mood. I had a great day. It wasn't like anything like that bad happened. It was just, for some reason, I don't feel like it made me appreciate the show more.
Interesting.
And in a very strange way, it made me appreciate it less.
Ooh, okay.
I don't really know how, because I haven't really thought about it a ton, but I've thought about it enough, of course, for tonight. But it was just one of those, there were things that were mentioned by Favreau and Filoni, and then certain little elements here and there that I was just I just don't know, and
yeah.
I love the Book of Boba Fett, and I love that other people love it too. So this isn't going to be me bashing on it because of this.
Right.
That's my kind of feeling right now. Now, with that being said, scale of 1 to 10, as far as behind the scenes go, a 10 being the making of episode 1, The Phantom Menace, that's a 10. And an absolute 0 being just some dude on YouTube who just pulled stuff from that documentary, and just uploaded it to get views.
Sure.
I put Boba, it's at a solid 6.5, 7.
Okay.
It's a great documentary. And like you said, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did enjoy watching it. It was just there were things about it, and I'm sure we'll get into them as we go forward throughout the night.
Yeah.
I was kind of okay, all right. let's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words right now, but
no,
we'll
I
see
totally
if we
get
there.
that. I totally get that. So there's kind of our overall reviews of the Disney Gallery latest installment with the Book of Boba Fett. Now let's talk about some of the big takeaways from it that at least caught my attention whenever I was giving it a watch. First one that caught my attention was that I'm excited to get confirmation that John and Dave are in fact using expanded universe material to help them build their stories. John had like a little comment about how they're pulling from all parts of canon and also EU material to ensure that they're respecting everything that's come before them. So I love to hear that. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. No, I actually liked that.
Okay.
I thought that was good because you want, I think with Boba Fett, there's just so much lore, whether it's canon or not, out there that's like everybody knows about him, or like even just a few weeks ago, I was talking to my dad and one of his cousins about the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my cousin too, but his cousin was basically saying, yeah, I read this book years and years ago, like 25 years ago, but it wasn't, none of that was really in this. And he knows the difference between legends and canon. And it's not like I had to sit there and explain the difference to him or anything. It was just one of those, you could tell that he was expecting something else, but he overall was very positive with it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I'm at too. You see a lot of those little things coming into play here. I'm glad that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, took that into account. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've seen that already a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And I knew you and I were going to talk about this because I always come back to Thrawn. He's the most obvious thing that's been pulled into canon from Legends. And there'll be elements in Obi-Wan. I guarantee you there will be, because there were in Boba. I mean, there's just certain little things that they brought in from Legends to canon, not to appease the fans, but like to add to the story.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I mean, I think any wise creative would check out the expanded universe and pick out the things that they're like, oh, that would be wonderful and beautiful in our little canon story that we're building here. It just makes sense for them to use the resources that are available to them. So I absolutely love that. Okay, the next thing, I need to hear Sarlacc Pit Blues, the music little piece that Tamara and Robert Rodriguez were playing together. I need to hear that in a cantina in an actual show. I want to hear somebody like playing that in the background. That's just like a little Easter egg for
that
us
would be cool
as Star Wars fans.
Take it a step further. Tamara Morrison has put out a musical album before, so
I've seen
maybe he does that again and brings Robert Rodriguez on and they do a song and it releases. That would be ideal. Mm-hmm. I think as Star Wars fans, you'd want something like that as like a Star Wars adjacent. Like there's a band out there called Galactic Empire that does metal covers of John Williams music. Like it's just insane that they do this. And I love them. And I know John Hare loves them too. So it's just one of those kind of funny things that's out there. I would appreciate that, but not just that they were playing music together. I loved that song, the Sarlacc Blues. That's hilarious. It's perfect. And I think you're right. It needs to be in a cantina somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I loved the first, kind of the other part of that is that it was not just them, they both happen to play guitar and sing or whatever. It's let's watch Robert Rodriguez's process. Mm-hmm. And it's a creative process. And he does the playing the music with the actors. I think that's one of my favorite images that came out of the behind the scenes is Tamara Morrison in full Boba Fett garb with a guitar. Yeah. And then they've got Robert Rodriguez just doing his thing. I just thought that was hilarious.
That needs to be like my profile picture somewhere. Boba just playing guitar.
What we need to do is we'll get rid of the background, okay, and we'll make him and Robert Rodriguez transparent, and then we'll put the droid drummer from what was it? The Sanctuary, Garza Fwip Sanctuary.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
And we'll just have them make a band. Max Rebo's in the corner. It'll be a whole thing. It's just Robert Rodriguez and Boba Fett, and then Max Rebo just happens to be.
That would be funny. That would be funny. Yeah. Okay, the next thing that I have here, Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, their connection that they have off screen.
Yes.
Gosh, I loved it. And when they were talking about the connection and the friendship that they have, it made me want to see more stories with these two than, like I said in my overall review, than I wanted to prior to seeing this behind the scenes special. Like I've personally been kind of content now as far as the Book of Boba Fett goes.
Yeah.
But just so I could see their relationship continue on screen, I would love to see a second season now, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, the story needs to be there first.
Sure. No, 100%. That's the main thing for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't currently see where there's a story. Not that they can't do one or write one. I mean, they obviously can. I mean, they took the Mandalorian essentially from not from nothing, but essentially, there was no backstory to him or Grogu or a lot of the characters we see there. Mm-hmm. So I think it's not that they can't do it. I think it'd be cool to see them continue into second season. What I super appreciated about Ming-Na Wen in this documentary is her transparency about how much of a fan she is. That's not something that's really come through from like the Mandalorian galleries.
Yeah.
But I've seen interviews online with her where she talks about she knew it was going to be Luke, in episode 2, even though they all tried to keep it a secret. She goes, I knew, like it was obvious. Like, and it was just, she kind of is very coy about it, but it's very funny, and I appreciate that because it shows that Ming-Na cares so much about Star Wars.
Yeah. But
what's so cool at the same time is you don't see just too much nerdiness coming off on screen. Mm-hmm. She's able to like subdue it for the time she's acting, which I wouldn't. I just don't think I could do that. I would be freaking out about being able to ride a bantha like she was off camera while I'm on camera. Someone would have to be like, DJ, you can't look that way. Well, what do you want me? I want a bantha. What do you want me to do? Okay. That's how I would be acting during that time. But anyway, you're right. Relationship, fantastic. Love their dynamic. It would be great to see them in the future. Absolutely.
All right. Well, let me hit some of these a little bit quicker here, just as far as, us making sure that we get to everything in our show. Robert Rodriguez's method of creating the sand creature, hilarious. Like, I busted out laughing, but I mean, it is kind of genius going about it that way whenever you're restricted to being at home, because they were producing this show during the middle of the pandemic, so it was kind of difficult, and it was hilarious, the method that Robert Rodriguez used. I loved also Danny Trejo connecting the Rancor to just our kind of view as humans to dogs. Loved that. That was quite hysterical as well, but it made sense. It's legit. And then speaking of the Rancor, I did not realize that they made a legitimate Rancor head and shoulders.
Really?
I didn't know that. For this,
you didn't
show.
See Danny Trejo's post after the episode aired of him standing next to
I must have missed
him
that.
and the puppet.
I must have missed that.
That's such a cool image. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
Man.
I'll send it to you.
Well, it was a new thing to me, and it was really cool. Really cool.
It reminded me of, I remember I watched something on CGI, a little mini doc years ago about the Hulk. And if you go back to like the 2003 Hulk versus the 2008 Hulk, they did like a survey or whatever, and somebody said, which one do you buy as more real, the 2008 Hulk with Edward Norton or the 2003 Hulk with whoever played the Hulk in that movie? And they actually went with the 2003 one. It's because all of the stuff that you have with the 2008 Hulk, it's everything CGI, the background, the Hulk himself, everything. It's just all CGI. Obviously the Hulk CGI, but in the 2003 Hulk, the backdrops they shot on are all real. It's all a real place. And when you put a CGI character in a real environment, it kind of tricks the human eye, making it believe what it's seeing better. That's why Jar Jar Binks and Watto work so well.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they take this element of, compositing something real onto something fake, and that creates what we get with the Rancor in Book of Boba. And that I was all about that. I thought that was really cool because, again, I just talked about the Hulk for no reason. I think that kind of stuff is very important and very cool to know. Mm-hmm. So you buy it even more.
Yeah.
And then them breaking down the relationship between the Rancor and Grogu was just, that's Star Wars.
That was great. That was 100% great. Okay. Here's my biggest takeaway that I had. This next thing was by far the thing that has been on my mind the most from this special. And it's this quote from Favreau. He says, to have the backstory of Mandalore show up 3 seasons into our storytelling. So this quote from Favreau, for me, is a clear indication that they are viewing all of these shows telling one story. Like, we don't need to view this as the Book of Boba Fett Season 1. Favreau himself is referencing this as a third season. They're telling this overarching story. And what I made note here, and I'm just going to read it directly because I had the time to type it out, so I want to do my due diligence and make sure I say what I mean to say. People, me included, need to understand that Din Djarin becoming a major part of the series was not a quote-unquote rescue for the show, or a rescue attempt or effort of attempting to save the show, but a creative decision to tell one overarching story. Now, for you, though, the watcher, the viewer, Din Djarin could have been the part that did, in fact, save the show for you, but that's not what the creatives are trying to do with that character showing up. So I just wanted to make sure that that was portrayed correctly. That was really telling to me as far as where the creative heads are at regarding why Din Djarin came aboard in the Book of Boba Fett so heavily.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to when we were talking about how it was Mandalorian season 2.5. And quotes like that make it okay that that's the case.
Yeah.
Because, we talk about which trilogy's better. The sequel, prequel, original. I mean, people have that debate until they're blue in the face. But, I think at the end of the day, it's telling one story. And that's, again, they know that. They're the ones in the middle of making Star Wars right now.
Yep.
So it makes sense that would translate over to Mando and Boba, of course, given, just the whole nature of what they're trying to do. And you're right. This is something we viewers may view it as a rescue. It was never a rescue. It was never we got to put it in there. It was no, we're telling a story. And I think that's perfect. I think it's great that they're aware of that. And they're not trying to, I don't think anybody's trying to pigeonhole them into marketing. I used to think that, and then maybe that thought will come back around, but I don't see that here.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. I think you're going to really appreciate this next one. I'm assuming you will, so I'm just going to let you take the floor. Doug Chang explaining the N1's return and seeing him ride it, that was really awesome. What did you think of that moment?
Anytime, okay, I got emotional for him. Like I didn't cry or anything, but I was sitting there watching it, and he just the what is it? The volume's just doing its thing and shooting the freaking Mos Espa pod race route past him, and he's just sitting there in this spaceship that he designed, 20 something years ago, and here he is sitting in it again 20 something years later. And he even said, I got to sit in it on Phantom Menace. Now I get to sit in again. And it's like they didn't, I don't think they did this. I don't know. It's like they kept the whole thing from him. Like they don't want to show anything to him. Then it's okay, bring it in the set, go get Doug down here right now. And he walks in and he's like, oh my God, that's how I'm viewing it. He's looking at it like, oh my gosh, you guys built this thing. Like he didn't know anything about it. That's how I'm viewing it. Until somebody says otherwise, that's how I'm gonna live my life. Okay. But he sits in it, gets up, and he goes, you guys did a good job. And I'm like, come on, Doug, show some more emotion, because he's a very reserved guy, and that's understandable. But at the same time, I was like, dude, if I was him, I would be having a straight up conniption fit. Yeah. So I loved it. Seeing him get to be a part of that. It's kind of a lot like when George Lucas saw Grogu and held him. And then that image broke the internet.
Yeah, it did.
And I think it's still breaking the internet.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. But anything Grogu breaks the internet still to this day.
Very true. Very true. But I very much appreciated this as a behind the scenes fan. Caleb, what do you want to say about it?
I mean, I just thought it was, like you said, can you imagine the emotions of that moment? I mean, I wouldn't have been able to hold it together like he did. For me personally, I'm sure he had it internally, but he's just really good at keeping it all together, I guess.
we all need to approach life the way Doug Chang does.
Yeah.
Just to be very reserved, very calm about it, and hope it all works out.
Yeah, that's not most Star Wars fans, I don't think.
It isn't.
Okay, let me group together all of my, because we get into the Luke Skywalker aspect of it here for, again, we said it a heavy amount in this thing, not surprised at all. But let me group all of these things together, and then I'll pass it to you, DJ, to get your thoughts on it. They are still referencing Luke Skywalker as Plo Koon in scripts. I thought that was hilarious because Rosario Dawson thought she was coming to the set to shoot a scene with Plo Koon. The body performer, which they kept saying was Graham, I don't know the full name, looks just like Luke Skywalker. They could easily just make this dude the new Luke. Now, I don't know about his necessarily delivery and things like that, but he looks the part at least. The technology behind Luke's face portrayal, I'm not even going to try to explain it, but it's definitely more mind-blowing this go-around compared to Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And then the last thing as far as Luke Skywalker goes is I have the opinion that we are definitely not done with the character. Based off of this quote from Dave Filoni in this special, he said, "I think Luke is a really, really good mentor for Grogu." Now, he could just be saying that based on this one season. I don't think so, though. I think they're going to cross paths at some point, some way in another one of these shows. Could be Mandalorian, could be Ahsoka, doesn't matter. They've already shown that they are more than willing to bring these characters into shows that are not The Mandalorian, so we'll see. Could be soon, could be later down the road, but those are the big Luke things that I took away. DJ, what are your thoughts on the Luke Skywalker stuff we got in this special?
This is where I was alluding to at the beginning of this discussion, where I take issue with certain things, because I still think you and I should have a stream that we dedicate just to discussing the consequences of this technology. I still think that it's one of these things that it's ethically speaking, I have a hard time with it. Now I feel better knowing Mark Hamill's behind it.
Yeah.
But there's just something beyond, like, what happens when Mark Hamill is no longer on this earth?
Well, I know they're contractually obligated to get permission from their family members.
I get that. But what happens when those things are no longer a thing? What if that stops, And I take issue with that. It's a whole other discussion. And I don't want to dive into it now, mainly because we don't have time. But I do like that Mark Hamill's there because it means so much to me as a fan that Mark Hamill has put his stamp of approval on this. And watching him, I mean, he is however old he is, and he's wearing the Return of the Jedi garb. I can't really be that upset about it. I really can't, because it's too cool. It's just too cool that he's there. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So to watch him do Luke Skywalker in this era is incredible, and it's something that's like, man, it's like really overdue, but it's super neat. Now, where I really take up issue with this is they don't dive in to the deep fake technology stuff enough for me. Like, I know they went into great detail on Disney Gallery with season 2 with Mando, but I wanted it more because they brought in that guy from YouTube. Or not YouTube or wherever.
Yeah, no, it was YouTube. They mentioned him in the special, but they didn't show like him doing anything.
No, and I think that there's a reason that they're not showing it. Maybe they want to keep that a secret for a little while until they, maybe that is
like keep the technology to themselves.
Yes, and there was another reference to that, I think, with Cad Bane's makeup. They said we
don't want to. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of a reference, not indirectly to the Luke stuff. It just kind of all works together that way. So, or maybe that's the editors of this doc saying, hey, just to let you know, we're not showing it. But I was a little bummed by that. But it was nice to know that they did reference that.
Yeah.
And that's where I take a bit of an issue with it. I would have appreciated more depth on that. Like, maybe there's more depth coming. I don't know, because, Book of Boba Fett, not Boba, Mandalorian season 2 got 2 Disney Gallery specials, one about the whole season, one about Luke Skywalker. Maybe there's another Book of Boba Fett thing coming, maybe. I don't know. I'm just I'm not holding out for it, but I just wish there'd have been a little more here.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm like, I have the dilemma, but I appreciate what they're doing. I like that Mark's there, but I also want to see this guy who got famous on YouTube now working for Lucasfilm. Like, I want to see all that, and it's not being put out there for us. And it takes a minute.
Well, and I think that you're probably correct in saying they don't want to show that stuff because they don't want maybe other production companies catching up to their technology. Now they're eventually going to catch up, but they have they probably have like a 2 year window maybe to do this exclusively. And maybe other companies can't do it for the next 2 years, and they want to keep that to be the only to be the ones that can say, "Oh, we're the ones that started this. We're the ones that kicked this off and sent the industry crazy with it." Exactly.
Yeah, because even they use the volume on the Batman.
Right.
Which I did watch the behind the scenes on that, by the way.
Nice.
I told you that. It
nice.
was fantastic. It was a good hour and a half of TV. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to real quickly, because RFB is having a great conversation with Blue Harvest Bricks in the chat.
What up?
But RFB said, hello, Blue Harvest Bricks. Glad you're here, all the way from the UK, which I love pointing that out. I don't know why. I just do. But RFB said, in reference to people working on these shows, says all of ILM and Lucasfilm, they're just big kids. And look at the smiles. They're just kids telling us stories. And that is 100% true. And that is very evident in the Apple documentary that we're going to talk about here in just a second too. But then Blue Harvest Bricks goes on and says, that's why they do such a good job, because they are fans and big kids just like us. And you're right. At the end of the day, we're all just big kids here having a lot of fun.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there really quick. So make sure A, their voice is heard, and B, it goes perfectly with what you and I are talking about right now, Caleb. So anyway, there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you threw that in there, because that is a great conversation. Great conversation. Now, the final thing, and all of that stuff with Luke, that is something that, here we go again. This is another week. We're saying, we'll talk about it on another episode.
Talk about it eventually.
We got like 5 ideas now. 5 ideas. Hey,
it's
that's
like 4
okay,
or 5,
though.
yeah.
Whenever Star Wars finally decides to not put out a show, we'll have content for when it's like a dead period,
It'll be time to digest it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Well,
dissect it.
The last thing that I had to say about the gallery is they really didn't mention Cad Bane until the last 5 minutes. I could have spent some more time with them discussing this character, but they really just kind of set him to the side. Maybe 5 minutes of content, maybe not even that, honestly. And then they got into the emotional wrap up of, this is Star Wars, we're family. I can't wait to continue to do more stuff with characters, yada yada yada. But I could have enjoyed more Cad Bane stuff.
Me too. That's the other big issue I have with this doc is the 2 big things you need to talk about are your 2 huge cameo appearances, that being Luke and Cad Bane. Yet they don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's come on. I'll leave it at that for now on that one.
Fair enough. Well, listen, those were my big takeaways with the Disney Gallery, the Book of Boba Fett special. Again, overall review, watch it. If you haven't, you'll get some great insight. You'll get probably differing opinions like me and DJ have here as far as just overall. You appreciated it. You just have a kind of a different take with it at the end of the day, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. All right. You ready for the next one?
I 100% am.
Well, you're going to have the floor on this. I did have the time to watch this. I was a little nervous. Today was rough. We had car issue after car issue, but we're over that. It was Revenge of the Fifth. We definitely had some Sith action going on in the Keller household. But anyway, I got to watch this. But since DJ's the behind-the-scenes guru, if you will, you're going to talk about this exclusively. Behind the Mac Skywalker Sound has been released on the Apple YouTube channel to give a behind-the-scenes look at the artists who make the sounds of a galaxy far, far away. So it's about 16 minutes. Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed watching this thing for 16 minutes. DJ, take it away.
This was okay. Thank you. The introduction. No, I got to sit down and watch this kind of yesterday evening, around 8 o'clock or so. And it was kind of hard to watch it at first because my daughter was screaming. I'm trying to feed her. This is me holding her and holding the bottle. I'm trying to feed for audio listeners, watch YouTube. I'm trying to feed her, but she's not really wanting to eat and she's sleepy and it's just one of those. So I had watched it while all that's happening, but then she went to bed and I rewatched it to kind of just take it all in because this is one of those things that it's so short that you almost have to watch it twice to really take it all in.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Star Wars stuff they're talking about. They're talking about Jurassic Park. They're talking about Spaceballs of all things. Cars. I mean, and then there's Incredibles 2 was in there.
Of course. And
randomly.
Iron Man showed up.
I mean, all that stuff was great. And to see, you got people from the very beginning of Skywalker Sound to today working still, that's 40 some odd years of history that they're pouring into this 16-minute, documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it because there's just certain things like about it, like my behind the scenes, I don't even know what to call it, vein, brain, whatever you call it, is just like going nuts because I've told my wife, I don't think I've ever said this publicly or to anybody else but my wife, but I've always wanted to be a Foley artist.
Okay.
And for those of you that don't know what a Foley artist is, and who haven't watched this will show you exactly what it is. But every little thing you see or do that they do is they take different little things and like here I have a Dr. Pepper can here and they turn that into something,
Right.
But if you're watching the screen and you don't record all the motions of hands rubbing together, you do that after the fact. Mm-hmm. That's a Foley artist job. And I've always been intrigued by that because I loved Ben Burtt's sound design. I never thought I had the technical know-how to do sound design, but I can stand in front of a screen and stomp my feet when a character on the screen stomping their feet.
Right.
And truthfully, there is a little bit of a magic touch to it.
100%.
It's not that easy, but I really just am. I don't know. It's such a weird thing to be infatuated with because I am. And I think it goes back to Revenge of the Sith. I remember I'm going to be real nerdy here real quick. In the Revenge of the Sith, behind the scenes making of Anakin's like movement during the Battle of Mustafar is made up of like a piece of leather, a drill, like a power drill, and like 2 or 3 other like a musket. Like they just like are just jumping up and down with this stuff, rubbing it together, making it be Anakin moving while fighting Obi-Wan. You may never even hear that stuff when you're watching the movie, but it's in there. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm just enamored and infatuated with this. And so these elements that they're taking and putting into movies and then taking clips from Star Wars movies and showing us what it all sounds like without the sounds and stuff like that. It's so cool to me. And if you at all like, sound design, if you think behind the scenes is something you are into or you want to get into, this is like the documentary. I would put what
I was just going to say 100, like it had me thinking, man, this would be a job. This is the dream job right here.
It's the best job I think you can have in film. Mm-hmm. Truly, because I mean, when I went to college, I started college 10 years ago, this coming fall. Okay. And I was going to go into broadcasting and I didn't pursue that. Although I guess you could call this broadcasting, but I didn't go into that in a professional sense, but I wanted to be a filmmaker so bad that I wanted to do anything I could. And there's this part of me that wants to be a filmmaker so bad, but watching this, it's like, that's the kind of filmmaking I want to do. Because that seems not just that it's not that it's easy. It just looks so much fun. That's the coolest thing about this documentary to me is that it's pure, unadulterated fun.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Behind the Mac was so good to me. So that's it. That's all I'll say about it. I'll give it back to you, Caleb, if you want to add anything.
No, everything you said, honestly, perfect analysis and feels that I got from watching it as well. So yeah, that's another behind the scenes production that they put out on Star Wars Day that, again, any and every Star Wars fan you need to check out because it'll make you appreciate the efforts and the work that really goes into these stories that we're so critical of, like overly critical. Way too critical because there are way too many people putting everything they've got into it to where honestly sometimes we just need to shut up and we just need to enjoy to enjoy the content that they give us because it's great. Okay, speaking of great content, the Obi-Wan Kenobi official teaser trailer. I'm gonna keep talking like that because it's so amazing.
It's a little too William Shatner this show.
It came out like 6. No, it was about 7 a.m. here locally. Super early. And you know what? All the West Coast people that you were sleeping for 3 hours and that's revenge for you being able to stay up late to watch a show. Suck it. Yes. I'm just playing. I love all of our West Coast listeners. I love all of our West Coast listeners, viewers, whatever. But us Southern and East Coast folk really appreciated this because as soon as I woke up, boom, Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. Let's go. Yeah. I was so hyped. It was the perfect way to kick off Star Wars Day. Incredible. I mean, I think you've shared overall thoughts, but reiterate them.
Here's the funniest thing about this trailer to me.
Yeah.
You texted me and was like, dude, it's out. But 20 minutes before that, you were like, do you want to do the trailer reaction today? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm thinking it won't come out until like in the evening on Kimmel is what I'm thinking is going to happen. But then it just, of course, it drops and you're like, oh, hey, it's out. And I was like, crap. And so here's what happened. I just need y'all to understand. I didn't get to watch this trailer until like 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. And that was horrible for me. I hated waiting. And here, like I didn't get to drop my daughter off with her grandmother until 10 o'clock. So it was 8 o'clock when you text me. So 2 hours. I can't like do a reaction while holding a 3-month-old. It's just not going to work. And then I drop her off with my mom, and then I come to work, and I'm somewhere between home and work, and I work with my dad. So I was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Thinking, we'll knock this sucker out right now.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, he goes, no, we've got some people, who are having a meeting. Let's wait until, they're done with their meeting. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking it's gonna be like an hour. They were here for like 2 hours. It was mind numbing. It was just horrible. Yeah. So by the time they left and everything settled, he goes, all right, you want to go to lunch? And I was like, yeah, we'll go to lunch. So we went to this Chinese place, ate lunch, came back, did the reaction finally. So it was like, why did it take all day?
That's how I feel like with every trailer, because they usually come out like 9, 10 in the morning
while you're at work.
Yeah, when I'm teaching, and I don't like to be fake. I'm gonna do a genuine reaction. I want to watch it for the first time when the camera is actually on me.
Yes,
and so I usually have to wait until like 5 o'clock in the evening to actually finally see it. So it's a pain that I didn't think you were gonna have to experience. I promise I did not have inside knowledge to the fact that they were going to release it super early, or else I would have said, we'll figure it out some other way. But you did a great job, and I'm glad you got to do it. I'm glad y'all got to do it. It was great. I loved the father-son dynamic that was going on.
It was very, to me, okay, another small element to this before we actually get into the trailer.
Yeah,
We're gonna go a little overtime tonight, so
all good,
babe. If you're watching at home, sorry. Anyway, my dad showed me the Revenge of the Sith trailer in 2004 or 5, whenever it released the first teaser. Mm-hmm. After he picked me up from school, so he actually picked me up from school and brought me home, and we watched it together. So for me, it was kind of a full circle moment. I'm now getting to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show trailer with my dad, and I saw Revenge of the Sith. It just was a cool moment for me.
Yeah,
that was the main reason why I was like, hey Dad, do you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, we'll do it. And I don't think he knew that, but like for me, it was just one of those, okay, we're gonna do this, so for me it was really special, and I'm glad he said yes. If he said no, whatever, we'll watch it together regardless. But it's one of those things. It's just, I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, no, it was super cool. It was very cool. I'm really good. I've said it already, but great dynamic. I just loved it. I could watch it all day. But listen, let's do something here. Let's watch the trailer with our live streamers. You know how we've done that before. Live streamer special here. Let's watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer together. Just because, we've said it here on the show. Star Wars is family, and those of you that are with us live, you're family, and we're going to check out a trailer together, and one of the best trailers to date, says Ryan V in the chat earlier. I saw that come in. He said a couple months ago, he said the first one was the best one ever. Now he's changing his mind. This one is the best trailer to date for Star Wars.
He's a victim to recency. That's what it is.
So I know I kind of threw you off there, DJ. Are you ready to click play on your end?
Yeah, just give me the punch it, like we usually do, and we should be good to go.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. We are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1. Punch it!
They're coming.
It doesn't get old seeing those stormtroopers.
No.
Stay hidden.
Those three look better together.
Survive.
I 100% agree. There's baby Luke whipping again.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Drop the mic.
You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places.
Golly, chills. I'm still getting chills.
Lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run Obi-Wan!
He's dead.
You can't escape him!
I can't even.
Golly. Okay, so let's officially get into our analysis, okay? I can't wait. I can't wait anymore. We need to do this. Just wow. What an incredible teaser. I mean,
I know.
I have to my first thoughts here, and then we'll take it frame by frame like we normally do. I think, this is just an opinion, I think the teaser trailer only shows shots of the first 2 episodes, the ones that are going to release on the premiere date, meaning that what we had talked about last week, I believe that the shots that they're showing of Vader is at the end of episode 2 to tease up episode 3. And at the very end, they'll like show more to that scene, like where it's maybe Hayden Christensen's face, and then all of a sudden comes down the Vader helmet, and then cut. We're ready for episode 3 the next Wednesday, I guess. Those are my current thoughts. On that.
I think you're right, but like my emotions currently are what RFB just put in the chat. He just says ... just ... Like I can't even like hardly fathom what's happening here.
Yeah.
If you watched our trailer reaction, the biggest takeaway for me was watching Vader's chest plate go into his chest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach Horvath says, incredible trailer. Yeah. I mean, it 100% is an incredible trailer, but watching that thing go into his chest, that's enough for me, honestly. If that was the whole teaser, I'd have said, all right, let's just, pack it up. Let's go. I mean, I don't know what I would have done had I actually just seen that.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, the whole trailer, incredible. Absolutely. That's my thoughts right now. They're incredible.
Dude, I just realized that I didn't even have the trailer displayed when we were watching it.
Yeah, I saw it mid-trailer.
Apologies to live streamers. Should we watch it again then?
Do we have time?
Yeah, we might not. We might not have time.
Just keep it on a loop. Just keep it on a loop next to us.
It's there.
It's right here.
It's there.
I think
they
right
can
here.
see it.
Is this the side?
You can see it now. We were listening to it at least. You were listening to it at least. I apologize.
You didn't even have to watch it, you viewers. You could just visualize it in your head, in your mind's eye. You've seen it 400 times already. So what does it matter?
Man, yeah. I'm so sorry. But anyway, let's get into it frame by frame, shall we? You ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we start off with the Lucasfilm logo, dust, sand, yada, yada. But we get this first little ship. I haven't seen this ship before. Going to this new planet, I'm assuming this one that's like very Blade Runner styled.
Dayu.
Dayu. I keep forgetting the name. But what do you think of just that opening shot? I mean, going to that
the
city.
Ship, 100%. I think he's going to Dayu.
Yeah.
But that particular ship looks a lot like Ochi of Bestoon's ship from Rise of Skywalker, but it's not the same one. It just,
right.
I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is. But it just looks different to me, and I'm always appreciative of new ships coming into Star Wars. Even if it like the N1 Starfighter Mando, it's different. It's not new, but it's different. And then when I first started watching Rebels and saw the Ghost, I was like, that's different, but I like it because it still looks Star Wars. This still looks Star Wars, this first shot. So I think it's a cool shot, to say the least.
Yeah. Then we get these stormtroopers and the fifth brother walking through the streets of that planet. And then we get to this shot of the 3 Inquisitors on Tatooine, the Grand Inquisitor leading the pack. Looks great. These 3 really do look better together. They look intimidating. Yeah. They look the part. I love the addition of a cape for the Grand Inquisitor. I think I think that's a smart choice for live action Grand Inquisitor. Just love this shot. What do you think?
I think I didn't even think about the cape being a new addition. Star Wars is capes in a way when you think about it.
Yeah.
Capes is Star Wars. Star Wars is capes. I think this is really neat because since I've been rewatching Rebels the last few days, and there's a lot of Grand Inquisitor stuff, obviously in the first season, and to see all these guys on screen together is really cool. But the cape, as you pointed out, I would like to see him lose it somehow in this series, and that be why he doesn't have it at all in Rebels.
Absolutely.
That'd just be kind of interesting.
What if it's like I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like when Jedi just shed their robes?
No, like a ranking kind of thing, and Vader just rips it off of him out of disgust.
That would be.
You don't deserve this cape.
No, because Vader would just kill him. He
Fair
would
enough.
just kill him, yeah. But okay, one other thing about this shot.
Yeah.
Where do these three get the audacity to just land their
Just
ship
land
in the middle of a normal street?
It makes more sense than Boba Fett walking 25 miles in 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I mean, like, how many times have you been like driving down the road and like the Amazon truck just stops in front of you and you're like, dude, pull over, like I have this to me all the time. I don't know about you guys. There's actually an Amazon distributing warehouse like 5 minutes from where I currently am.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, what? Move. So anyway, I would be, if I was I'm assuming this is like Mos Eisley or Anchorhead or maybe Mos Espa. I don't know. I'm just looking at this like, dude, what? Move your freaking car. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. Anyway, it's a little funny thing, but still, you're right. Back to your original point. These three look better together.
Yes.
It's the cheerleader effect from How I Met Your Mother for you, How I Met Your Mother fans.
Oh, great.
I'd be interested to know if we have any How I Met Your Mother fans.
If we do, we need to start a podcast because I could talk about that show. That's for sure. Okay, next.
That's surprising.
Let's keep going. The next frame, we get the fifth brother kind of looking at some Tatooine civilians. Not much analysis there. Let's see what keeps going. We get this familiar shot of the Grand Inquisitor. We've seen it in the previous trailer, so nothing really to add there. Then we see Reva walking by. A bunch of Tatooine civilians kind of lined up, so maybe there's some form of interrogation going on in these moments. And then we get the Obi-Wan looking to young Luke. Anything that I didn't mention there in those little frames, DJ, that stands out to you?
The thing that stands out the most to me is the shot of the fifth brother, because it slowly shifts its perspective from the back of his head to this person that's between him, and it looks like that's Uncle Owen back there behind her. So I think this is a lady.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat that there's this one person in between him and Owen, which it's one more step away from Luke, which is just insane to think about. But I'm curious as to what this person's role is, because I think this person's going to die, and I'm just kind of curious about it. So
I could see where every other civilian's kind of parting and getting out of the way, and maybe she's just kind of resisting. And yeah, you're right. There could be some
that's what I'm looking at there
going on there. But RFB says Anchorhead as far as the location. That would make sense. That would line up with reports and things that have kind of been there online. Okay, I think the next thing in the trailer is arguably the best stuff the best stuff in the trailer. And that's Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen conversating about how Luke needs to be trained. And Owen, with the burn of the century, even more burnt than Anakin on Mustafar, says,
100%.
Like you trained his father? Excuse me, sir. Definitely not. And speaking of Zach was in the chat a moment ago. We were texting about the trailer earlier in the week, and Owen is 1,000% in the right for feeling this way. And looking out for Luke. And that's what makes this dynamic and this potential confrontation that these two characters could have with each other, at least verbally. I know they're not going to get in a fight or anything like that, but this verbal confrontation that they're going to come to, it's going to be so great, so cool, because you can see both ends of the discussion. Like, I 100% see what Obi-Wan's trying to say, but I 100% also see what Owen is trying to say, and I can't wait to see these two incredible actors go face-to-face like that. It's going to be great.
Yes, and for me, this is perfect because it goes back to what we were talking about with our Legends discussion earlier, where we're seeing parts of Legends come in this moment. But this stuff's already canon. So it's just, for me, as a fan of just the Lars family, I think it's really cool to see that coming to fruition. And not to mention, I also had this thought just a minute ago while I was listening to you just talk. You know, you said, I don't know what you said, but you said something that made me think about Owen really just not wanting to do anything with Luke here, and give him over to Obi-Wan. I wouldn't be surprised if his personal opinion of the Jedi has been soured by what happened to Anakin. I think, you know, because we see elements of it where, especially in the sequel trilogy, where people are just under the impression that the Jedi never existed or they were a myth. And that's only 30 or 50 years removed, and the people thinking it's a myth. That's insane. And so here's a guy who knew a Jedi, at least one, now knows two for sure. And he's sitting here thinking, okay, maybe you're just all messed up. You know, it's a soured opinion of the Jedi. And Obi-Wan is, you know, somebody I don't think who you should have a sour opinion of as a Jedi. I think he's a very respectable Jedi in comparison to like Ki-Adi-Mundi. You know, just for example, he's a jerk, that guy. But anyway, I have a very sour opinion of Ki-Adi-Mundi. But anyway, I just a lot happening with this scene. Yeah. And I guess I'm veering into speculation, so I'll stop. But I'm really excited to see what else they do with Owen and Beru in the show. Oh,
100%. 100%. Okay, we keep rolling, and we get streaming May 27th. We see Reva at this. Is it called? What's this place? Their temple.
You would ask me that right now.
I know we know the name.
I'm not mad at you for asking me. Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yes, that's it.
Is that it?
That is
the most. Oh my gosh, it's almost not Star Wars. To me, it's such a weird, like, it makes sense because like even Death Star makes sense, but it doesn't. Like, you couldn't. It's like you couldn't have come up with something better than the Death Star. Like, you know, it's a great name. You know, we know it, we love it. Fortress Inquisitorius. I'm not behind it yet, but I think I'll get there eventually. It's just a weird,
fair enough,
couple of words, you know.
Yeah,
that's all. But it's cool. It's cool. It's a great concept.
Fair enough. Well, she arrives, and then she goes into this room where there are other Inquisitors surrounding this table. I can't tell exactly what this table is trying to do, but I'm assuming that it might have something to do with finding Kenobi's location.
Is this Indira Varma on the right?
No.
Okay.
I do not believe it is, because that's one thing that I did notice watching this teaser is I didn't spot her once.
Okay. I thought that was her.
It could be. It could be, but I didn't think it was, because I remember pausing on that for a minute and thinking, is that her? And I didn't think it was, but it could be. It could be.
Wait, RFB said something in the chat that I'm not sure about. He says Nur of a moon of Mustafar. Is that what's on the map? Because I don't know what if you're pointing to something near Mustafar.
Is this fortress on that moon?
Oh, I could see that.
Because it would make sense, because Darth Vader's right next
He's
door.
Right there. Yeah. It's just like, I'm going to shoot over there real quick and, you know, chop someone's head off real fast. Yeah. Well, you did mention another Inquisitor here. Is that the same one from Rebels who's also with the fifth brother in that second or third season of Rebels?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It looks like her to me.
It looks like her. Yeah.
I'm going to say it's her until otherwise
we're going to say yes, it's her until probably RFB confirms or denies. How about that? Because RFB, he's got it. He's got it going on.
He does.
All right, then we get Tatooine, Kenobi, striding on an Eope.
Always a good time.
Probe droids are blasted from this fortress. Let's see.
It could. Is it a probe droid?
Yeah, well, it makes the noise.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
What a horrible impression. All right, then we're back on this new planet, and we see Reva overlooking the blasting that's going on that we've seen Obi-Wan shoot with that blaster earlier later in this trailer, but in the first teaser trailer that we got. And what's next? Then we get this. It was kind of weird for me. This next part's kind of weird. The image that they used that was like, it kind of looks like test shooting for Revenge of the Sith that they just used.
It's definitely a production photo of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But even like further, it just makes you think, like, of course we're all dorks here, you know, Mando Talk and as Star Wars fans, but we're going to look at this and be like, okay, why would Obi-Wan Kenobi need to take a picture? You know, does he have an ID badge to get into the temple or to the Senate building? Why does he need his picture taken? Is it his driver's license photo? This is a stupid thing to wonder, but it's where my head is. Why do they have this? It's not like they caught him and then lost him, because if they'd have caught him, they'd have killed him. Okay, that's bar none. That's what would have happened. You know how sometimes like they take the picture of the mugshot, and then Jerry Seinfeld has this joke where he's like, that's why they always get you from the front and then the side. The side is because they were leaving and they said, oh, we lost him. That's how you never can find the guy after he's disappeared. Jerry Seinfeld does a better job. I'm not a comedian, but regardless, this is what it looks like, a mugshot. It's just you're weird. You're right. Not you're weird. This is weird. You're right.
I am weird. But secondly, I think it's just a Jedi archives kind of thing that they pulled. Like when you said that, I was trying to think back, maybe in Rebels or in Clone Wars, if there was ever like a missing Jedi and they had like a holographic image of that missing Jedi to display to the citizens.
Oh, you're in Clone Wars. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
I
think it's like a safety measure, a Jedi archives kind of thing.
Look at Joe Costanu looking out for us.
Absolutely.
You gotta love her.
Savior. Okay, then we get Forlom.
That's 100% Forlom.
Yeah,
I mean
1,000. And this is when Rev is saying, like, I'll hire any bounty hunter to go and get this dude. Basically,
it was full blown confirmation of who this guy is. When she says that, I mean, like, as soon as she says, I'll get every bounty hunter, and then it's like, oh, that's the guy from him. It's cool, you know. It's like, yeah, of course he's there. You know, I don't know, it's silly, but like you see a guy from Empire Strikes Back, you're like, okay, all right, I'm here for it. You're just like, yeah, okay, it's Ewan McGregor. He's fighting Forlom. He doesn't have a lightsaber. He's got a blaster. Why has he got a blaster? I don't know. It's uncivilized. Move on.
That's another thing. That's another thing. We haven't seen a full reveal of Vader, but we haven't seen a full reveal of Obi-Wan Kenobi using his lightsaber yet.
I'm okay with that, though.
It makes sense. Like, why would he? He's trying to hide.
Well, it's like when he goes to the cantina in episode 4, it's almost like he knows that he's not coming back.
Yeah.
It's like everything's converging into this moment for him. Mm-hmm. That's why he's like, cut this dude's arm off. Okay, I'm good. You know, like, he doesn't give a rip. Right now, Obi-Wan's like, I'm on the run. My job's not complete. And that's why he's got the blaster, but proficient with it.
Very.
You know, I mean, he did kill Grievous with one. So
true.
I imagine. You think he has weird PTSD? Like, every time he pulls, like, he's just so used to using the lights. Every time he pulls the trigger, he's like, Grievous. You know, it's like, it's one of those. He's just like, I'm going to shoot you like I did the robot guy. Boom, boom. You know, is it something like that?
I could
Probably
see
not.
it.
Probably not.
Actually, I could see that. Oh, man. Only at Mando Talk you can get this kind of analysis. You're welcome. Look, next shot. I'm interested with this shot. It's Kenobi fighting off
a Zabrak.
Yes. And I don't know what's going on with the clothing here as far as Kenobi goes. It looks like he's got like a light blue Is it
a nightgown?
Yeah, it's like a gown almost covering his Jedi robes, because you can kind of see his belt underneath.
Maybe he's just emulating the Big Lebowski.
Is he imprisoned? That's where I was going. Like, dude, that's what I thought at first.
He may have on prison garb. Maybe he did get captured. Dude,
and he's breaking free.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that idea.
That was just my thought.
Prison break Obi-Wan sounds perfect. That'd be a whole episode. He gets arrested, he breaks out. That's the whole episode.
Could be.
That'd be really cool. Or the cliffhanger will be he gets arrested.
Maybe at the end of episode 1. And then episode 2 he breaks out.
No. It'd be later.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be later.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, next shot. The fortress again, and a moneymaker shot immediately after. Purge troopers.
Those are Purge troopers.
from Jedi Fallen Order.
I didn't even notice that.
Pretty hyped by that. That is really sick. And
Dude,
Miss Sunflower
that's cool.
says hello there, and I say hello
Miss
there
Sunflower.
back to you. Great shot here.
Kenobi. Sorry, you have to say it back.
I can't say that back, so that's all you. That's all you.
I don't do a good Grievous. Can't do a Grievous.
Great shot here. We got normal troopers. We've got Imperial officers, Purge troopers. I'm trying to see if there's anything else other than obviously Reva right in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm not spotting anything else, but I'm assuming this is on the fortress now. Who is coming to this fortress that makes her react that way is a question. I mean, obviously your thoughts could go to Kenobi, but I mean, that'd be cool if Kenobi tries to get there and wipe out as many as possible. It's
possible that he's imprisoned at the fortress, and that's where he breaks out. And then when he breaks out, everybody's like, red alert. And I'm not trying to make a pun because there's a red lightsaber. Like they go, red alert, get him, you know. And then, of course, like we're going to get into in just a second, she starts screaming at Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Well, now she was screaming at him at that new planet, correct?
I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah,
we're skipping ahead a little. We're skipping ahead. Yeah, but this shot's awesome.
It is a great shot. Next shot, we get Kenobi killing some troopers. We see an Imperial probe droid wiped out behind him, so I'm assuming that he's the one that did that. But again, he's using a blaster. Then we see like this droid kind of Iron Man mix mashup kind of thing. Don't know what's going on with that. This is a completely new character that I'm aware of.
His blaster looks just like a B-1 battle droid's blaster.
Kenobi's?
No. The droid.
Yeah. And see, I don't know if it's a droid either. Like, is it possible for somebody to be in there?
Dude, first of all, it is a droid. He's got 3 very clunky looking fingers.
Okay.
Secondly, that is a B-1 battle droid blaster.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so that's I forgive me for my nerdiness. I know this because of action figures when I was a kid. All the Phantom Menace people like Panaka and Padme, they all came with this blaster. So I knew it was a droid blaster, but that's a B-1 battle droid blaster. I mean, that's really cool. I mean, it's just a little all parts of the buffalo type thing, but it's so cool to me. Little things like this get me excited. I think y'all know this, those of you who listen on a regular basis. But
100%.
This is super cool to me.
Okay, well, back on the fortress is next. It's Reva again. Maybe this is the same shot of all of that group of Imperials coming out because she's in battle mode, and it looks like it's the fortress in this scene at least. And I'm at the minute and 3 second mark. Nothing else really to add there except I like it. I like the movements that I'm seeing from Reva.
That's the typical, lightsaber swinging you saw in the prequels.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because she would have been based on just what I know about Inquisitor, she would have been a defector from the Jedi Order in order to survive. Because even Ezra is given the same ultimatum in Rebels. So it's just kind of neat to think, the training is translated into the dark side. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
100%. Okay, the next shot is, I'm going to butcher his name.
I practiced
Kumail Nanjiani?
You got it right. Yeah, I practiced his name today. I was like Kumail Nanjiani. I said it to myself.
I'm going speculation mode. This is the dead Jedi that gets hung in Tatooine.
Big name like that to get just killed off that quick.
Well, I mean, big name actors want to be in Star Wars, and why not? Why not?
Well, I'm not saying they don't. I would just Sam Jackson said, "I'll be a stormtrooper" to George, and he made him a daggum Jedi. So I mean. I just don't want to believe that he's one and done like that,
Sure.
But I would go that he is a Jedi.
Oh yeah. He definitely has that look.
He has a Jedi look about him just as a person. Like I don't look like a Jedi. I'm too scruffy to be a Jedi, I feel like.
Nah.
But I'm okay just being rebel scum Texan. That's
sure.
So you're cool you'd be a Mando. You'd have to be.
I appreciate that. I'll take it. This is the way. This is the way. Great shot though. I love seeing who he was portraying revealed. I think that, at least in my opinion, there's no doubt he's a Jedi unless he's just in full disguise and he's acting as a spy for the Empire for some reason. I kind of doubt that though. But we'll see. Okay, the next thing is like this handheld droid that honestly, when I saw it, I thought of Mickey Mouse I think it's just because of like the little flappy ears. Maybe that's just me.
Well, yeah, I see it, but I didn't think that at all. It looks like two things to me. You know those little pocket makeup things that like people have with there's a little mirror on it.
Yeah.
Put a little powder in there and all that. I don't know what that's called. It looks like that, but it also looks like a Bluetooth speaker, like a portable Bluetooth speaker to me a little bit. But
I see that.
But it's a droid, and I'm all for a new droid.
Yeah.
You know, BD1 was a great addition to Fallen Order, and you know this whatever this guy is.
I think that's what this droid. I think that's the inspiration behind this droid is BD.
Yeah, it looks like BD.
Yeah, looks
to me
similar.
It does.
Looks similar. Okay, so this is what I was thinking, because the next shot is Reva on this.
Yeah,
it's got just that atmosphere similar to the new planet location, which is called what, DJ? Daiyu. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm assuming she fails as far as getting him and capturing him. He escapes.
Yeah.
But that has me confused with the fortress scene that we were talking about earlier. Like, who is she going after in that moment? Because who else would it be other than Kenobi?
Well, maybe we'll meet a new character.
Maybe.
I mean, you just never know.
You know who we haven't seen? O'Shea Jackson's character.
Oh, I don't even remember who that is. O'Shea Jackson. I'm blanking. Describe this person to me.
I don't know what else he's in.
Okay, I don't even know. Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
We haven't seen him. There's another one that we haven't seen either, but I don't remember that guy's name. Anyway, great analysis here.
I mean, they said that Jerry from Parks and Rec was going to be in this.
No, the Mandalorian.
In Mandalorian. I don't expect to see him in the trailer.
Fair enough.
It's Jim O'Hare. Like, he's not going to be, not that big a deal.
Fair.
But anyway.
This was a great shot, though. And then Reva screaming at, "You can't escape him." Let's go. And another thing that I noticed, too, is the way that she was saying Obi-Wan has me even more convinced that there's a connection between these two. She is aware of who this guy is with her former Jedi days. I'm convinced at this point. Now, next shot in the trailer is a money shot. It's Hayden Christensen's burnt to the crisp arm getting Darth Vader attachments. Love to see this.
I look at this and I feel deceased. Like, you know that feeling like when you see something that's just so shocking, you get a weird tightness in your stomach. That's how I feel right now. I've seen this trailer like 10 times and I still can't process it. Mm-hmm. I think my mind thinks I'm 10 years old again in watching Revenge of the Sith. I think that's what's happening because something weird and psychological is happening with me when I see this image. Yeah. It's too cool. It's just cool. I don't know how else to put it.
I just got an analysis thought here.
Oh, do it. Say it. Come on.
Is Anakin Scott in the prequels?
Okay.
Is it his right hand that he gets a droid hand attachment on?
In episode 2, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no! Well, yeah.
You think You think they did that on purpose, or is that just me being way too?
Well, if that is
that his right or left? Yeah, that's his right.
That would be the back of his.
That's his
hand.
Right. That's his right hand that we see in the trailer.
No, because the right hand thumb goes up. See,
he's like. Is
he like that? That's a little awkward.
He's like this.
So, what's your analysis though? While we're talking about,
I just think it's
hands?
cool. I mean,
okay. The fact that it's
just that connection, the symmetry. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Well, not only that though, but Vader loses that same hand in Return of the Jedi. Because Luke, so maybe it's like it's the trilogy of the glove of Darth Vader. That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
There is a book out there called The Glove of Darth Vader, and it's a Legends book. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
It is the weirdest Star Wars book I've ever read. But it's meant for like a 5th grade reading level. But whenever you read, if you ever get a hold of this, it's really worth the read because Luke goes to like the crashed Death Star site, tries to find it because there's like force powers on it. And I don't know, it's a whole thing. Anyway, this is the glove of Darth Vader, is what this is, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
I like it.
Sounds good.
I know it's so silly. I know that, but it's just a cool moment. It's Hayden Christensen's arm.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be freaking out over a grown man's arm.
Well, just getting
unless it's like baseball, but
just
like
getting
this
the
is
tease
just cool.
of the tease of Vader coming back is perfect. It's perfect.
That
Next
is a
shot,
great arm.
we've got the fifth brother and an additional Inquisitor and an Imperial officer. We'll keep moving along with that. We see the next shot. We see the Purge Trooper, and we see some OG Stormtroopers back on the fortress again. Oh, and Reva's on the far right. So this looks like a side view of the approaching of all of the squad approaching in the middle of that hangar. So again, I have no clue what's going on here, but I can't wait to figure it out. Next, we see Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi overlooking something. He looks quite perplexed, if you will. And then we get the ending where we have the chest plate attached to Vader. We get the breathing, and then we get Obi-Wan Kenobi looking hurt. Just mentally hurt is kind of how I'm interpreting it. Maybe the only reason why I'm interpreting it that way currently is because it immediately follows the Vader shot, in which that immediately makes me think of, Obi-Wan has come to the realization that Vader is Anakin, if he hadn't already came to that realization or not before. But he's just having to deal with that. He's having to deal with that internally. So great stuff. And that's the final shot of the trailer. And the last thing is they used a red lightsaber this time for the Disney Plus logo instead of a blue one. Really cool.
I pointed that out in the reaction. I was like, hey, it's red this time. Like, it's such a silly thing to like look at. But yeah, these last 4 seconds of actual shots, not, fonts. There's, I think, a lot going on here that deserves a little bit of analysis. First, Obi-Wan, that shot of him looking upward, I think one of two things. He either sees Vader like up on a hilltop, like in that poster that released yesterday, or this is where Qui-Gon actually shows up.
Interesting.
If Qui-Gon's supposed to show up.
Man, see, what I was thinking he was looking at was the hanging Jedi.
It could be that. I mean, it could be a lot of things. It can be Vader. It could be Qui-Gon. It could be the Hanging Jedi. It could be Luke.
Yeah, it could.
Luke, I think there's a comic where Luke takes the T-16 Skyhopper as a kid and like goes on a joyride. And maybe Obi-Wan sees that moment from afar or something. Man. I don't know. I mean, that's big speculation. But that image is really compelling to me because it could mean a lot of different things.
100%. I agree with you.
And then the chest plate going in, I never would have thought that would have been those forks going into him. That means every time he suits up, he's being stabbed. That's freaky. That makes my stomach turn in a bad way. I don't like that. I can't handle pain, so that would mess me up, man. And
I'm sitting here paused on that frame too, and I'm just now realizing that you can see like the skin, like his skin on the side, and you can see his arm. I'm just now realizing that. So it's definitely a multi-pieced upper body suit that Vader has to wear.
It's like if I'm Palpatine, I'm thinking, do I really want to keep this dude alive? Like that's what I would be thinking if it's this much effort. But I guess the force power outweighs the necessity for him to live. I mean, not to live, but to give him the apparatus.
It's gonna be so cool. I don't know if they're gonna do this, but it's gonna be so cool to see Hayden Christensen like hanging there essentially, and you just see piece by piece put on him, and we'll see like the acting performance of like his facial expression while all of that's going on.
I bet he's just stoic.
Yeah, you think
like he's just like I can't act like he could, but like he's just like, he's just gritting and bearing it the whole time. He's channeling the pain into the force, the dark side of the force, to like deal with it. That's what's gonna look.
Dream imagination here that I just got.
Go.
as each piece is going on him, we see a flashback of either him with Kenobi or him with Padme. DJ's gone. He's
Hold
gone.
Gotta think.
As each piece goes on, you see
Take a second. Hold on.
You see Hayden's internal conflict. We see the arm go on, and we see a cut to Hayden's Anakin with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. We see the chest plate go on, and we see, because the chest is the heart. We see Anakin with Padme and them young and in love, and you can just see like I said, the emotion on Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker as he is piece by piece covered up and no longer Anakin Skywalker anymore, and he becomes the Sith Lord Darth Vader.
I have to take a nap now. Blowing my mind right now, dude. I can't. Can you? Oh my gosh, it'd be like Mandalorian when he has his flashbacks to being a kid and his parents get gunned down. Do it like that. What you just said, I hope they did it like that. Because Deborah Chow was there. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. For our audio listeners, I know I'm being loud. I'm sorry. But oh my goodness, that is too cool. Everything you just said, I want it verbatim tattooed right just on my face. That was just too. I want everybody to know that is the coolest thing I've ever heard all day. Well, I'm not going to tattoo that on my face, obviously. But
here we go. This is another week where we got tattoos getting thrown in.
I don't know.
You must really want a tattoo.
I really don't. I'm actually scared of getting a tattoo. And my wife, she's like, "You gonna get the?" My wife had made this design that like incorporated our initials and everything, and I was like, "You gonna get the tattoo?" I was like, "No, probably not." Like, I'm just scared. Anyway, it's just I had to stop, obviously, and walk away because that's just too cool. You just made my whole day, Caleb, with that.
Well, you know what's too
fantastic.
cool? It's the
Mando talk?
Well, Mando talk, yes.
Yeah.
But I would say the Obi-Wan Kenobi official trailer is probably a little bit more cool.
No way. Yeah, it is. Way cooler than Mando talk. But what's great about talking about Obi-Wan is that you'll hear us talk about Obi-Wan for a while here on Mando talk.
Yeah, you will.
So take both those cool things and just make a sandwich. That's what this is. It's going to be a good time.
Great time. Well, and hopefully you had, again, another edition of Mando Talk. Hopefully you had a great time listening to it, listening to our analysis, listening to our discussion on all things Star Wars Day, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we can't wait to continue to cover some things. It's about to crank up. Star Wars is about to heat up. Star Wars Day was a heavy indicator that internet's going to be going crazy when Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out, and absolutely. I can't wait for that discussion, and I can't wait to be covering it with all of you guys. This is a show that so many of us have dreamed about since we saw Revenge of the Sith all that time ago. We've had all this headcanon being developed of, what's Obi-Wan really thinking when he's on Tatooine? Like, what's he dealing with? What's Vader dealing with as he's transitioning from Anakin, fully committed to the Sith Lord? Cannot wait to see this story be told. And again, can't wait to cover it. DJ, final thoughts that you would like to share with our listeners?
I can't hardly come up with anything better to say than what you said about Vader flashbacks with putting his armor together. It's just too cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this trailer as a whole is got to be a top 10 Star Wars trailer. You know, there's a lot of great Star Wars trailers, you know.
Got to do a new ranking.
Let's give it a year or two, you know. We got a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as y'all want to keep hearing our takes, we'll keep giving them, you know. But at the same time, this is such a cool trailer. And I know like the first 30 seconds was stuff that we'd already seen, you know. But then that back half is where it pays off. And, you know, it's kind of like it's like baseball in a way. I think because I've been watching a lot of baseball, it's just on the brain. But it's like baseball, you know, you can start off your first few innings not doing so hot, but you come in the 6th, 7th, you know, 8th, 9th innings, you can really bring it about. That's kind of how this trailer was. Yeah, I mean, it was. This was one dinger after the other is what it was. Just home runs being hit all day long. Remind me of our tweeter and Chiggers conversation.
Tweeter and Chiggers.
Tweeter, Chiggers, Dingers.
Well, speaking of Tweeter, follow Mando Talk at Mando Talk
Absolutely.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
And follow DJ at Rebel Scum Texan on Twitter.
I need to say this, speaking of Twitter,
Yeah.
and also just social media. John Powell, the composer for Solo, opened his DMs today for 20 minutes on Facebook.
Really?
Did you not see my tweet?
No.
Oh my gosh. I caught it 16 minutes into that time period where his DMs were open. So I rushed over to Messenger and sent him a message really quick. And he responded.
Really?
Yes.
I'm going to have to go see this.
It's kind of funny because he accidentally sent me the wrong message.
Oh,
I talked to John Powell today.
There you go.
I talked to somebody who talked to somebody who talked to somebody who talked to Harrison Ford. Okay. That's a good day for me.
There you go.
Caleb's analysis of Darth Vader talking to John Powell. It's a good day.
And it's Revenge of the Fifth.
Revenge of the Fifth.
Revenge of the Fifth.
Yeah.
All right. What's tomorrow? How can we make tomorrow a Star Wars day?
I think tomorrow's date is Revenge of the 6th. And then it's in parentheses, always 2 there are. I think that's
did you just make that up or is that
no, that's like that's a thing. That is not,
Okay,
I can't take
okay.
credit for that. Yeah. That's a thing. And then I don't think there's anything on the 7th necessarily.
Okay.
But regardless, it's what tomorrow's supposed to be is there's always 2 there are, no more, no less. That's kind of the
Sure.
I think the concept there.
All righty. Well, enjoy your days, regardless of what tomorrow or the next day is going to be. We hope that you have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you next week for our weekly Star Wars discussion. All right, let's get out of here. As always, we have spoken.